StreamYard.
We are live.
Yeah.
Going. Oh, yeah.
So mellow. Rod's your live streams always start so chill. You know, some people they bust right in. They're like shouting out stuff. Rod's always like, "Hey, I'm just here. You're here. We're here."
Yo, welcome to Coast to Coast. We're missing a few people in the chat or in the house, but you know what? Yo, we cannot never go wrong with the man, Dan Piercy. Yo, what's up? The regular. He wants to come on the show all the time. How you been, Dan?
I've been good. I'm good. I'm ready for battle. I'm gonna put my hat on. So.
Let's
do this.
Okay. All right, Mr. John Comics with Kids. How you been, sir?
Hatless, apparently. I gotta forget. I'm really blowing the uniform tonight.
Oh, no, you're fine. You're fine.
I love the typewriter behind you, right?
Yeah, I don't want to blind anyone with my.
That's why I come on Rod's show. I got more hair than anybody on Rod's show. That's the only channel where this happens.
Now, I would like to. I don't even know how I can move the boxes around. I'm not messing around with that.
Oh my god! So, how are you liking StreamYard?
Man, I think it's epic. I love it, and the reason why because OBS is kind of hard, and still struggling with it. But there's a point where you could hook up OBS with StreamYard. From someone in the chat was my homie. Ortiz did a video. He did a video. Ortiz did a video. So check him out. And he hooked it up. So
compared to Hangouts, I mean, it feels pretty similar. I mean, it's different, but the same. And a good segue into to Mel V's Drunken Chat. Oh my God. He used StreamYard last night for the first time. He had 6 people on. And it doesn't, because you know how Hangouts works. When a person talks, they get the full window. But you had a box, you had 6 people lined up, and they're getting loaded. So, I mean, they're talking over each other. It's just like this guy, Nick Hart, he was like yelling unintelligibly, and Mel was like, "Nick, if you don't shut the fuck up." And it was hilarious. And they went for 8 hours last night. Oh my God. It's crazy. It hurts thinking about it. The 2 times I've been on, I went 3, and I was out. So, yeah, there's that.
Yeah, those shows are tough when you have that many people. I feel like the only ones I've seen work are like auctions, where it's really like, okay, it's organized. You go person by. Otherwise, even the Comic Core, I love those guys, but on Friday nights they got like 7 people on there. It's herding cats.
Yeah, but I mean, Hangouts lends itself more to like a larger group because the person talking takes the window, whereas this we could all start speaking at the same time. And
no, the thing is, I can invite more people. That's what I'm trying to do right now. Actually, anyone who want to hang out right now on Coast to Coast Comics, because my homeboy Jeffrey Comahan Hansen, he's working. He's working, man. And Perry Comics, he's busy. Edwin is doing his service. Thank you, sir. But you know what? Anyone that want to jump on right now, man, hit me up with the email on Instagram
in the chat. Yeah. So Edwin does a lot of the service in the summer, doesn't he?
He does.
Yeah.
So
you want me to shout out the chat for you, Mr. Rod, here and run through some folks?
Thank you, sir. Well done. Thank you.
Ortiz was the first in the chat, and he was rolling. He was tailgating, which is a great term I like for people who show up early for these things. Then Junior was in the chat next. Then Dan was in there. And let's see, I jumped in for a bit. Then we got the crew after their show started. Rican Comics, Stay Puff, Chad 90 Miles from Comics, Mr. Garrel in the chat, Sam I Am. Let's see, Geek Aficionado, Comic Foo, and Mastodon Comics and Collecting just jumped in a second ago. Oh, Double S, the Mighty Comics guy, and that comic book homie also saying hello.
Oh, wow. What's going on, comic book homie? Yo. Hey, guys. Yo. Let's have a good time. Talk about comic books, man. It's been a long week, man.
I picked up a story, Rod, that I don't know if you're familiar with. It's a DC storyline that I had heard about because it was referenced a bunch. And I was doing my research for learning about Wonder Woman a little bit. And it's the Sacrifice storyline. And the only key issue in it is this one right here, because she kills a guy. She twists a guy's head around and kills him at the end of this. I don't know if you know this storyline. I took a photo of the panels because it's crazy.
So, John, are you a Wonder Woman fan?
I do like Wonder Woman a lot. I have not read enough, but what I've read, I've always really enjoyed. Like the Brian Azzarello run was kind of like my real introduction to her. And I did my starting line video on that run because I think it's a good entry point for somebody who's never read Wonder Woman. And I started looking at kind of storylines around her. And then I had seen several comics that referenced the sort of aftermath of her executing somebody of her own free will and like the issues that come out of that, and made me want to snag this issue.
Yeah, I started reading her on the regular with the New 52 series, which was excellent. The Greek mythology and all that, and then the Rebirth series has been very good as well. But I think that book you referenced was before New 52. I think I have the first.
Yeah,
issue.
this was the volume 2, and here I'll show you the panel where she does the executing. Is she just takes this guy's head and just coldly just snaps it, this guy's neck. Yeah. And it had the story. I don't want to. I guess I just kind of ruined the ending for the story. But the buildup is that this villain is controlling Superman. The whole issue, this one issue, has to do with a fight between Superman and Wonder Woman, and she's getting her butt kicked basically until she gets the lasso around the villain and basically says, "Shut Superman down, like do it." And the guy's like, "There's only one way to do it. You got to kill me," and because he thinks she won't do it, and she just does it. She just grabs this guy's head and just whack, he's done. And then you look at Superman's face. What did you just do? Like, you just killed that guy.
How can you do that?
Yeah. So it's Greg Rucka wrote a bunch of it, if not all of it. And I found a guy selling the whole storyline. It was like less than cover price. And so there's like afterwards she gets taken away. Like she has to go to court. For the movie.
Dude, I love that cover. I had the first print of that.
It's a beautiful cover. I mean, obviously, you get a little booty, little side boob.
That second print, I have like a handful of the first print, so I'm going to send off to grading, hoping for a 9.8.
Yeah, so there's a bunch of little bits. OMAC is the one of the robot villains in the side storyline pieces. So there's a bunch of little issues. I thought it was really cool. I had never read it, so I grabbed that, and I've been reading through that. It's a good story. I really enjoyed it.
Are you reading her current run?
I'm not. Is it any good? I heard the one to read is Justice League Dark. I want to get the trades for that.
I haven't read Justice League Dark. I mean, I'm enjoying it. I'm a fan, so I want to like it. But it's good. What are they going through now? Some of the Amazon
regular price, probably.
Say what?
Regular price? You can find the books.
Yeah, you can. Most of the run has those beautiful Jenny Prison B covers too. A lot of people buy them for that, but I read them too. So yeah, I've enjoyed it since issue 1. And Ruka wrote the first arc for the Rebirth series. So
yeah, and then people are saying that it connects into the Infinite Crisis storyline, which I've read a few times. And they included the little $1 book, the countdown to Infinite Crisis, in the lot that I purchased. But yeah, so I mainly was a Marvel guy. I've been, other than Batman, not a lot of DC. I've been branching out. Like I'd read almost all of the Jeff Johns Green Lantern run. I've been reading some of the Williamson Flash run. So I just bought recently the issues for, where did I put them?
John, are you taking Marvel these days?
Am I reading Marvel right now?
Yeah.
Yeah, but there's only certain ones I love. Like Ethan Sachs is a guy that I think is a real underrated writer, and I love Old Man Hawkeye. I'm loving Old Man Quill. I think it's just phenomenal.
Okay.
But there's not a lot of like current, like I'm not reading ASM, I'm not reading Fantastic Four, not reading, I wasn't reading any of the Uncanny X-Men. I'm reading Powers of 10 and House of X.
Segue into this.
Yes.
What y'all think of this? Did you
Love
read
them.
Oh, yeah, I got it right here. Yeah.
I thought it was good. I wasn't gaga over it like lots of folks were, but I thought it was
I liked House of X more than Powers of X, personally.
I have read Powers of X. But
I didn't read Powers of X.
I thought House was more of like a streamlined story, whereas Powers of 10 is like fractured into like 4 timelines. It's based, the concept of multiples and Powers of 10 is the idea that you multiply by 10 and you exponentially have a dramatic increase, right? So they start at year 0, which is like Xavier comes up with the idea of the dream. And then you have year 10, which is the storyline of House of X. Then they multiply to year 100, where we see Nimrod and the Sentinels like basically have won. And then we multiply to the year 1000, and we kind of see what has happened to mutants in the year 1000. So Powers of 10 has like 4 timelines that it's covering.
How are the charts in Powers of 10? Lots of charts?
Same idea. He breaks it up with charts, and they kind of come, and this is the point that I think Alec Whitewell Comics was making, was that they come after the portion where you need them, and that was frustrating him. I kind of dug it as like I'm just diving in, trying to figure out what's going on, and then I finish a section, and then they give me the information that fills in the gaps that I was trying to guess on. But he was frustrated. He wanted them to flip where those little info drops happen.
Yeah, the charts totally annoyed me in House of X, except for the Omega level mutants. I thought that was cool. And I mean, I'm not surprised. If you guys read Manhattan Projects, there was tons of charts and graphic design in that too. So he loves his charts.
I mean, I kind of dig it, man. Whatever it is out there for everyone, you know what? I like it, man. I like it a lot.
Yeah, I mean,
I can understand. Like,
my opinion is probably the minority.
They're very dense, and I will say I have a Hickman blind spot in that I've never read much Hickman. I have very little backstory on his work. So for me, this was my first time really getting right in at the beginning of a Hickman run. And for me, it feels very novel and very interesting. And I kind of dig the style of it, but I could understand being tired and frustrated with it, or being bothered by how much reading is being demanded each time.
Yeah,
Sure.
I felt like that. But I still liked it. So, the last 5 pages were very suspenseful.
Well, and I think again, to go to Whitewell Comics, Alec was saying he loved the first like 3 pages and then was bothered that like they never reference it again. You know, the whole like embryos and the tree where Xavier's hatching his little clone babies or whatever. And I was like, well, dude, that's classic comic book setup stuff, right? They're just going to give you that tease, and then that's going to bleed out over the next 12 issues or whatever. Bake the Snake, and Burke was in the chat. Kachung, Bake the Snake is dropping knowledge.
Caleb's in the house.
Yep, Snizzle Pop.
Snizzle Pop, great homie. Check him out. Hey Dan, you mentioned earlier this week about a graded price analyst.
Yeah, the high I set.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that was kind of fun. This goes back to Wonder Woman. I took a capture of this. It was just a pleasant surprise. I've had this I've had this for sale on eBay for like years. It's a gem in my collection. But I put it up on eBay for a crazy price. Anyone who's curious, they can go look it up on sold listings for eBay. And someone finally bid. So,
All right.
Bye-bye Wonder Woman photo variant. And I was informed in one of my chats that I set a new GPA. So, yay me. You know.
All right, man. I got something in the mail. This is something special. This is like probably one of my. It's gonna be a big deal for myself. So
I want to see it. Let's see it.
Let's see it. Here it is.
John, you were talking about Ryan Otley, Spider-Man. Like to talk about that a bit later.
Yeah, I mean, I love Nick Spencer and Ryan Otley in different media. I had high hopes for that ASM run. I just I hear I should go back to it. That I hear that it got better. I only gave it like a handful of issues.
Hey, shout out to Jack DeMaio, aka Mr. Bolo. He's in the house. Royalty. I love Ryan Otley. I loved Invincible. And so I definitely was checking out Spider-Man.
And I love the way he draws Spidey. Like that cover, I think it was issue 3 or something, when it was like Lizard's face really big and Spidey's face and then like a yellow background. They made like all these cool short boxes designed with that cover on it. It's so cool looking. I wanted his art to be as good as the story. I never liked clone Spider-Man stories. I just get so bored.
Well, I'll tell you. I mean, it's so similar to Invincible. It distracted me. I mean, Invincible is a parody of Spider-Man, and I mean, it's just like, oh God.
Yeah, I mean, Invincible is so good. I would just rather grab issues of that than
I loved Invincible.
More Spider-Man.
I loved it enormously.
Yeah. So I backed off of the ASM, but I think I gave it like 3 or 4 issues. But I wasn't loving it enough. If it had just been a good Spidey versus the Lizard story, I probably would have enjoyed it a whole lot more.
I gave it a couple issues and then I backed off. It just reminded me too much of Invincible, which is not a bad thing. But,
Yeah, but I'd rather read Invincible, right? Like you're saying.
Heard that.
All right, guys. Here it is.
See that
Here
book?
it is. Here it is. This is Spider-Man.
What year
I
is
don't know what that is, brother.
Yeah, what year is that?
Because that is an investigation that I was doing because I can't. Let me just absorb this in. Oh man, that's pretty dope.
You're stoked, Rod. You can't even talk.
I can't because look at it. It came in perfectly fine.
You choked up.
Wow, man.
This is a grail for you? You've been wanting it for a while?
I bought this. Well, it wasn't a grail, but it's like I pay a good price for it, and it's awesome, dude.
You're stoked. It's great to see live and on camera.
I know. I've never seen Rod so speechless.
dude. I don't even know.
So, can you tell us what's the significance? What's this book? What's it about? He can't even talk. I love it. I love it, brother. Why don't you show the cover? Let us look at the cover for a little bit. There you go. Give me a little closer. You put you on the big cam there. Let's see the big cam. I don't know this. I can't even tell. It's not Marvel, is it?
Is that DC?
There's a big M in the corner, but it didn't look like a Marvel.
It's Go Spider-Man. I'm gonna look it up, man.
I'm gonna let you guys just search.
Bask in his glory.
You are cracking me up, Rod, brother.
Well,
Yeah, see, I can't even see where I put those other books, man.
You bought it on eBay, Rod?
Ah, there they are. Yeah, here they go.
Okay.
Did Rod freeze up? I don't know what's going on. I lost Rod.
It looks like he did, but it's a book from the 60s.
Okay, so it's maybe a late silver age, maybe?
Yeah, Stereonko art.
Oh.
So I wonder what happens if he gets back in.
I don't know. He cut out. He took a breather. Rod took a breather. He's using the book to cover his tears. No, he's frozen. He froze himself. Now it's just now it's just you and me. Yes, like I said, I've been grabbing some DC books. I went back. I snagged some early Renee Montoya, and Renee Montoya has The Question. You know, I really enjoyed the Lois Lane that Rucka did, that first issue, and I like the way they used The Question in that. And I was like, you know what, I got to just go and bite the bullet on these books because I think that character is going to continue to be important. So, but they're still really, really cheap key books, and I really enjoyed that character.
Yeah, I read a ton of DC stuff. What do I read? I've been reading The Batman Who Laughs. Actually wanted to talk to Perry about that. We both had issues with how they put the... Do you read The Batman Who Laughs?
I read the beginning of it. I know they pushed it to 7 issues, and I think Perry was feeling like maybe it was just an issue or two too long.
The last couple of issues, they were doing like this dark red text on black bubbles and panels, and it was hard to read. And that was like the first thing Perry said to me, and I was like, I'm glad it wasn't just me.
No, I haven't heard anybody raving about the ending. I feel like a lot of people are feeling like the best thing they can say is that it was all right.
It wasn't great. A lot of times, I mean, 90% of the time, it's more about the journey than the destination.
Sure.
So, and it was a fun read. It was a fun read. Not a great ending, but it tied things up. So there's that. And, I don't know why I gravitate more towards DC than Marvel these days. But what am I reading from Marvel? Are you reading the Conan books at all?
I got the first issues for Savage and Barbarian, and I liked them well enough. It certainly flashed me back to when I was a kid reading that stuff. But I haven't continued up with any of them. And I couldn't handle Savage Avengers. I think something about the idea of Conan hanging with the Avengers just didn't.
Dude, I hate that.
It just didn't.
Conan is not an Avenger. Come on, you cannot make that work at all in my mind. It's just.
I had a mental block on it. I couldn't make it work.
But I mean, Jason Aaron titles are awesome. I loved his Thor.
Sure. I did a whole bunch of videos on Jane Foster. I think she's just a really interesting character, and I like the way they used her in the Thor run, and I like the way they're setting up for her in Valkyrie. I enjoyed Valkyrie issue 1. I thought it was good.
So, do you have an opinion on the Jane Foster Thor movie they're proposing?
I have a whole lot of faith in the people at MCU. I feel like their track record should speak for itself. For me, I have very few bad experiences in a Marvel movie.
Right.
And I love that story enough that I have faith that they'll pull something amazing out of it.
Well, here's what I think. I love Natalie Portman, but I do wonder if she has the physicality to do the role. Don't you?
It's possible. I mean, I will say that one of the cool things about the comic is that she looks totally different when she carries the hammer. Like, she has different color hair. She actually has hair. Like, when she's in Cancer, she's got no hair, and it's usually black. Like, she's got black hair. And then all of a sudden she becomes this blonde Nordic goddess. I could totally perceive them not necessarily CGIing her, but certainly like altering her appearance when she picks up the hammer. There's this transformation in the comics. Now, admittedly, they've never had that as a part of the hammer in the Thor universe, but they have had he picks up the hammer and the lightning strikes and all of a sudden his beard is braided, or all of a sudden, they do transform Hemsworth a little bit I think of Endgame when he finally gets both hammers in his hand and like his beard braids for some unnatural reason, right? Like, couldn't it conceivably do something with her? I would hope that the Cancer storyline is a huge part of it, that we see the reason she's been gone from the storyline so much through Marvel up to now is that she's dealing with chemo and that she's dealing with all these things. And this opportunity comes up for whatever reason, right? And I could see it being a powerful story leading to her like death or near death and the return of Thor from his unworthy journey, which I still am really hoping for an unworthy Thor movie. I think I would love that movie.
That could happen. I mean, you know, they seem to be willing to go anywhere with Thor. So now, see, I thought Jane Foster as Thor, I thought it was a good story. It executed very well. I enjoyed the issues. But to me, it almost seemed like they had a board meeting and they're like, Jason, can you make Jane Foster work as Thor? And it's like, wow, I'll try it. And
I would say that the storyline would go more like, hey, can you make a woman as Thor? And we don't know who it's going to be.
Yeah.
He starts writing the story and because he told 8 issues before they actually told you who it was. And then the story proper kind of began. I could definitely see that as the pitch. But I loved what he did with it. I was very entertained. And
it was good. I was entertained, or I would have dropped it.
I bought all the trades. I've read them a couple of times at least, and I've been slowly collecting the run. I'm just missing the like filler issues at this point. I thankfully started way before the hoopla.
And Immortal Hulk, you reading Immortal Hulk at all?
Oh, it's definitely Marvel's best comic for the last couple of years. Whatever it is. I only had a couple of issues where I felt like it was petering out, but overall, it's just been the consistency has been shockingly good.
Yeah, it's been very good. I mean, it was like a perfect storm. People were ready for Bruce Banner to come back as Hulk, and then it turns out being as good as it is. And even the issues that aren't awesome, they're more like quirky rather than like not good, you know?
Yeah.
So
yeah, I loved the everything up through Hulk and Hell for me was spotless, like just perfect. I think after Hulk and Hell, I felt a little bit like they were forcing them to keep going. They were like, okay, this is popular. You got to do more issues now. And so it took a little while after Hulk and Hell for me to feel like it caught a next wind. And then I feel like since then, all the stuff with, was it Bushwhacker or whatever, he's down and he's chasing Bruce Banner through the lab and Bruce can't the whole. I love that whole issue was phenomenal. I loved it.
So, but yeah, those have been my primary Marvel reads: Thor, Conan, and Immortal Hulk. But everything else,
I can't recommend the Ethan Sachs Old Man universe enough. I know it gets a bum rap because of the name. I think a lot of people feel like I don't want to read this. Old Man Hawkeye was probably the best run I read a year ago, and Old Man Quill issue 7 is still the best single comic I've read this whole year. It is phenomenal. I think it's really underappreciated as just a great. I recommend read the trades, read on Marvel Unlimited. It's a great read, and I love the original Old Man Logan story, the Mark Millar story, and I didn't care for the character at any point after that. And I thought Ethan Sachs is the first writer to come along and say, you know what, Logan wasn't what made Old Man Logan so great. It was the universe, and I'm going to play in that universe a little bit.
The original Old Man Logan.
Yes.
I love that so much. Oh, you're referencing that. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I think Sachs was deciding like that universe is so cool with like Thor's hammer dropped over here and dead giant man over here.
The Hulk family. Oh,
yes.
My God, that book was
so
good. It makes me want to read it.
You liked that, you'll love Old Man Hawkeye because it's the prequel to that story. And Ethan Sachs clearly gets it. And he knows that universe, and he decided, like, I'm just going to play in this for 12 issues of Old Man Hawkeye. And that was so good and popular. He's like, hey, let's try another character. Let's see what Quill is doing in this future. And I think fun.
These old man characters, you can do a lot with. I mean, the Old Lady Harley series was actually entertaining as hell.
I heard that.
So
I'm just worried that, like, the more they just throw the words old in front of something, the worse it gets for the actual properties.
You get burnt out on it. I mean,
absolutely.
It's like I see them on the shelf, and I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, and I think the name is the biggest hurdle that has going for it at this point. Thanks to Chad 90 Miles from Comics. Thanks to Geek Aficionado. They clearly were reading Old Man Hawkeye. They're both shouting it out as being awesome. So thanks, guys. I appreciate that there's other people reading it. I know that it's not popular. Rod, did you want to share Spy-Man? I'm sorry, we interrupted you, brother.
No, that's right. I had to fix things up here. This is Spider-Man #1. First art by Jim Steranko.
Yes.
So I got this on. I ordered this on eBay, and I told the guy, please wrap it up, and he did a great job. And I'm so stoked, man, to have.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I looked it up. It's from 1967, right?
Rod, can you make your camera a little bigger so we can take a look at it?
I can make something bigger.
At the bottom. Don't be doing that. I think if you click the one with the big, there's like a big and 2 small squares. There you go. Now put it up close. I want to see this sucker. Let me see that. That is cool, man. Steranko is a boss, man.
No.
And his signature, he has one of the coolest signatures when he signs a book. You got to get that signed, brother.
Dude, I want to bid it. It was like $10, and I was like, all right, I'll keep on. I paid $15 for it, but for some artwork like this, man,
that's worth it, man. And it looks sharp too. It looks like it's like in great condition.
It is. I'm trying to just wrap it around.
Yeah.
It has some. Of course, it has that there. If I want to clean press it, but overall, man, Spider-Man, dude. And the reason why I got this is because I was like searching online, and I think Tom and the Guru was doing stuff like that, and I was like, well, just start dropping names, and I was like, I'll drop names too. Then I want to figure out if I can find something in my budget, and this is one of them.
Sure. I don't know if you remember, there was a channel, RB3, really great guy, and he loved to get books signed, and he loved it. He was the one that introduced me to Steranko, and I started looking into Steranko work. And then I want to say I won an auction, or I won a giveaway from I Love Signed Comics, and he sent me a Steranko signed Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. or something. Really, just but that signature is a piece of art in itself. The way he does his name is just so cool looking.
Yeah. My buddy came home, and he was like, he looked at it, and he was like, what are you doing with that artwork? I was like, why not, man? He was just like, holy crap, how much? I was like, it was a good price. Man.
Now you're schooling us. Neither of us heard that title, so now we know.
Well, it's just
Spy-Man 67, first Steranko.
There it is, man. It's pretty dope, man. It pretty is, man. It's pretty dope. But man, I don't even know how to start this, man, because just a bunch of shit out there, man, and
Oh, what are you talking about? I was gonna go into Flash. Do you want to go into Flash?
Oh, we'll do it, man. We'll rock it out with Flash.
Dan, one of the books I have been reading on has been some of the Williamson Flash. I was saying, I just finished year 1. I got the whole storyline there. I don't know if you're a Flash fan, but I enjoyed year 1 enough to go and start reading some of the Williamson Rebirth stuff. And I've been picking up the like Godspeed storyline and some of those first appearances, and that reading all that run. I found somebody selling for like $2 a book. I got like 8 issues in that run. It was really great.
So you're taking it back a little bit.
Yeah, I started with the newer stuff, and then now I'm getting some of the older stuff.
Yeah, buddy. That's my buddy right there.
How long have you been reading Flash, Rod?
I've been reading Flash since the Rebirth. And then I started, well, that's where it all started, because the house got broken into, and then I wanted to start picking up on comics. So that's where I started, on the Rebirth. And now I'm picking up on everything I can get a hold on. I'm just trying to find great runs, great story arc. It's what I'm trying to do right now. That's what I'm trying to do.
Heard that.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, I got a box here. Like I was sitting here this morning with my wife, and I was like trying to organize my Flash comic books. I got the short box right between my legs, and we're watching. It was a movie on streaming. I think it was Aladdin or one of these movies. And I'm like, babe, I gotta fix these books. And then I told her, yeah, this is not organized one bit. It was just like my books are not organized when it comes to Flash. You got volume 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and man, it's just a disaster. But I'm fixing it. I'm fixing it. It's gonna get there organized one way or the other, man. In
Brian Wood in the house. Shout out to him.
People in the house, man. People in the house, man.
Oh, John, you're a film buff. Have you seen Once Upon a Time in Hollywood yet?
I have not. I mean, I feel with kids, my wife and I struggle to get out to see any movies for adults on time. I will say that it's everything I've read about it tells me it's probably going to be one of my least favorite Quentin movies. Just I don't necessarily enjoy his later films. I feel like since even Jackie Brown, but really since Kill Bill, I feel like his movies have derailed for me, and I feel like they have great scenes, but they don't add up as well to a full movie like his earlier movies. But that's me. Like I love Inglourious Bastards for certain moments, but it doesn't add up to a movie I love.
Have you seen it, Rob?
Oh yeah, Inglourious Bastards. Wow, at the ending, whoa, that movie is hardcore, man.
But Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, have you seen that yet? No.
That's his new one.
No.
Yeah. Out a couple of weeks. It's a vanity project, and if you feel that way about Inglourious Bastards, you probably will feel similarly to Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I will say Brad Pitt is awesome. Everyone.
He's a good-looking guy, man. I mean, look at this. If my wife walked through here right now and saw Brad Pitt, she'd be like, "Babe, I'm sorry, I'll take Brad Pitt any day of the week before you."
Well,
I'd be like, "All right, babe. Well, I'll take Jessica."
Walk through my house, I'd be like, "Babe, you're out. I'm taking Brad Pitt." Like that's what Brad Pitt. I think for me, I think Quentin's film, I understand kind of what he's doing artistically. I just don't necessarily appreciate it from a story level. He lets the actors shine. I think that's still the best part about it. You get to see some great performances. Like Christoph Waltz in Inglourious Bastards is amazing. Like it's just an amazing performance. But it gets to the end, and then it's like, no, I'm just going to rewrite history, and we're going to kill Hitler. We're going to make it happen the way I wish it had happened. And it's like, well, but why? Like, what's the point of this movie now?
Well, they're saying that. I mean,
it's the same I'm hearing in this one.
It's very similar. He gets revenge on the Manson family, but it's an entertaining as hell ride for sure.
Yeah, I felt the same about Django Unchained, and I just, for me, like they have amazing scenes that I'm like, wow, if the movie had just been about this moment, I would have been so pumped. Like that, again, like that first sequence in Inglourious Bastards when they're in the cabin is just, it's amazing. It is so phenomenal. And it never reaches that height again. But for me, like, I loved Jackie Brown. I think it's his most underrated movie. I thought
Jackie Brown was great.
So good. Like the Pam Grier, Robert Forster storyline in that is amazing. It's like it's easily the best romance he's ever put in one of his movies. It's just
great performances from the actors. Totally believable timepiece too. How'd you feel about Hateful Eight?
Hateful Eight, yeah, same deal. I felt like there's great scenes, great sequences, and the actors can just fly. Walton Goggins is amazing. I've loved him for a while now. You know, The Shield and Justified. But it never seems to add up to a full movie that I'm like, yeah, I loved that movie. It's more like, wow, I loved that part.
Yeah, but Hateful Eight might have been my favorite movie he's done.
Oh, nice. I love a good Western.
Me too. I love Pulp Fiction and Reservoir Dogs too. So
shout outs for Pulp Fiction in the chat right now. I saw Comic Assassin and Little Podcast.
Man, just a great. My best Western movie was I'm trying to think of the one what had all the cast in it. Oh man, let's go back in the 98s, 90s.
You talking about Silverado? That's one of my faves.
No. It had Val Kilmer, Brad Pitt.
Brad Pitt and Val Kilmer.
Yeah, they were in it. Western movie.
I know Val Kilmer was in Tombstone with Kurt
There
Russell.
it is. That's
No
it.
Brad Pitt in that. Don't throw Brad Pitt in there. Brad Pitt's
All
not
right,
in there.
sorry.
That's a good movie. Tombstone's a good movie.
Tombstone. One of
Yeah,
the
Kurt
best-
Russell as Wyatt Earp. So good.
After I saw Once Upon a Time, it had me revisiting like Death Proof. Death Proof was a lot of fun. No one's going to call it a great movie, but it was fun.
No, but again, yeah, exactly. I feel like Quentin makes these movies that have incredible scenes and they're a lot of fun. But for me, I struggled to have them add up to an overall film. Like his early films did, though. I mean, Reservoir Dogs is a masterpiece. I remember seeing that in just getting out of high school, and I was just like, wow, this movie, I've never like sweat through all my clothes while you're watching a movie, just like what's going to happen?
Reservoir Dogs. Wow, that movie was.
It was insane. Just
Yeah, it was
absolutely
badass.
insane.
All right, guys. And the chat is popping, man. We got Jennifer Courtney in the house. Hello, Jennifer. She's doing. I tell her all the time, come out and put some stuff out to the community. What's going on? Superman Comics in the house. Hello, sir. Thank you for hanging out. E Ortiz in the house, man. Thank you, E Ortiz, for hanging out tonight. The comic book homie in the house, man. Great people in the chat. As always, man. We have Conquistador.
Javi.
What's going on? Javi, what is going on? Javi wants to work some stuff out. Let's do it, man. Let's do it.
I would be happy to hang with the Conquistadors, man. Those guys are awesome. Go team.
Let's do it, man. We that's what we do, man. That's what we do, man. Hang out here, man. It's Saturday. I miss Jeffrey. I miss Perry. I miss Edwin.
Dan and I are here. We're not scraps of meat. We're here for you, brother.
Yo, you're not scraps of meat. You're not scraps of meat.
We're not leftovers.
You're just the how you say the ribeye. This is the ribeye.
There you go.
This is the ribeye right now. This is the ribeye show right now.
The ribeye show.
Hey, Rod, if you're ready to go 8 hours, Perry and Jeff may be able to join us later.
Hey, man.
No way. That hurts. That hurts. It hurts even saying that.
Yeah.
8 hours. Yeah.
Yo, shout outs to everyone in the house right now hanging out with us. Of course, we had Dan Piercy. Of course, we had John Council Kids. Of course, you have your boy Rod the Rican. And more important, shout out to everyone in the community that's been working hard out there, man. You know what? Support the community no matter what you're doing, man. Rock out, have a good time. And you know what? As always, hit that thumbs up. If you don't like it, don't do it. But you know what? The reason why you're going to hit the thumbs up on this channel right now with these family members watching us and these people right now is because what we do is this. We put out content. We put out great haircuts, great hats, great hair. And that's what we do, man. Hang out with us. With that being said, guys, let's talk about right now. I have to because, oh man, I don't even.
He's always got the build up, Rod, building up,
Suspense.
right?
We're waiting.
It is not so much of a suspense, but holy crap, man! OBS or StreamYard. Or
I would say it depends on what you're doing. This morning I did OBS for the show with the girls, and I loved it for just us. We weren't inviting people in. I was able to put the chat on one side. I could put a name across the bottom. It was kind of fun. I will say it was streamed a little fuzzy, but I think it's probably on my Wi-Fi, my laptop, not on the OBS. But for something like this, where we got Dan and you, and we want to see everybody, I like StreamYard better for that. But I love Dan's comment earlier that Hangouts managed large groups and was able to switch based on audio independently a lot easier. And I want to say there is a way to set that up in StreamYard. I just haven't played with it enough to figure it out.
Exactly. Actually, Dan, you were talking something about you set a GPA graded price analyst on a book last week. Can
Oh,
you break that down to us, sir, if you don't mind?
that was the Wonder Woman 50 book.
Oh, okay. There it is, man. There it is. How we break things down real quick, man. Anyone want to hang out on Coast to Coast Comics right now? All you gotta say is let me know,
Hey,
and we'll send the invite out.
Rod, I've been rereading the Fraction Hawkeye run. I snagged the issues at my shop. They had the first 12 for a real great deal, and I had loved the first trade, which is 5 issues. Dan, have you read that run? You like any of the Fraction Hawkeye run?
I heard it was great. I remember seeing it on shelves. What's the artist? Aha.
Yeah, AJA. I don't know the.
What's his first name? Frank
David.
David. Yeah, I remember. He was doing an indie book called The Seeds that I really enjoyed that got canceled. Sadness. But I heard that Hawkeye book was great.
It's funny. It's really funny.
Hey, actually, I want to take a quick shout out and say, anyone over San Antonio where the shootings happened over there, and I hope everyone over there, hope everyone's doing fine with their families. There was a tragedy out there. I think there was people that passed away.
Was that in San Antonio? I thought it was El Paso.
Or El Paso in Texas. So
I mean, Edwin lives out in San Antonio, and so do my sisters and one of my best friends. Oh my God!
Yeah, so I just hope everyone is okay. My prayers go out to everyone out there. This crap sucks, man. Walking in Walmart with the gun. But anyway, we keep it to comics. But I just need to say that, man.
No, it's nice to send out those kind of good thoughts, good feelings, good things.
God bless Texas, y'all. If you've ever been there, you know.
My uncle lives there. Yeah.
What an incredible state it is. There's no other state in the union like it.
Absolutely.
I often love visiting my sisters in Texas.
Where are you from, Dan, originally? Where are you from originally, Dan?
Born in Charleston, West Virginia. Grew up in Roanoke and Richmond, and I've been in Ohio since I was like 20, so it's 30 years now. So where are you at, John?
I'm in Southern California, in between sort of San Diego and LA. But my sister-in-law went to school in Charlottesville, and it was like Charlotte, West Virginia, and so I know my wife used to go visit fairly often.
Yep. This is what we do right now. Coast to Coast Comics, man.
I'm a mid-coaster, Midwesterner. My mom lived in Sarasota, which isn't too far from Perry and Rod and Tampa. And I was going out there for Christmas. So that was very nice when she was still alive. So
we're legitimately coast to coast tonight.
I guess.
I'm filling in for Jeffrey.
Oh man, yo, things happen, and this is what it is. And Coast to Coast Comics keep on rocking, man. Yo, I have to say, usually I do this. Trying to flip my page here for notes, but I would like to ask a question to the chat. What book did I miss this week that I didn't read? Or John looks like he's about to fall asleep.
I'm sorry. I will say this was in my opinion, an awful week for comics. Like I literally bought one new book. And that was it. Now I will say partly because I'm really not on the Scott Snyder bandwagon, and he dropped a bunch of books this week, and I was like, I don't want to read any of them. Because I didn't like Last Night on Earth 1. I'm not going to read Last Night on Earth 2. It's just
actually, my wife said, should we go to the shop or go shopping? Because we can work around certain areas. And I was like, well, I don't have to go to the shop. Well, she was like, well, we can hit a Walmart. and go to the other stores here around there. And I was like, no. And then we just went to a local store and we just bought a few things there, and that was it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a light week. It was a light week, John.
Well, I mean, other people were getting a lot of books they really loved. I don't mean to hate on the week, and I know that a lot of people love Scott Snyder. I love his Court of Owls. I just haven't loved anything else he's done as well as that.
I hate to contradict John, but
most people. Oh, there you go.
This is a great week for me. The Goon came out. What is this? Ice Cream Man. This was a weird as hell issue. This issue was called Palindrome, and they recommended you read it
forwards and backwards.
And backwards, yes. And last issue of Paper Girls, very good series. Though I have not enjoyed the last arc, but it's been a great series.
Indie books is fire, man.
Yeah, Monstrous is a great read.
Yeah, Caleb is always shouting out that Monstrous.
Yeah. It's one book that I have not read anything.
So, but I mean, shit.
I think people that love Scott Snyder were like super pumped because he had 2 books drop. It just, for me, I just wasn't a fan. I'm not a fan. I know Oblivion Bars, he's joking with me. He's going to pray for me. I loved Court of Owls, and I liked even all the way through Death of the Family. I just haven't loved anything else he's done anywhere near as much. I just kind of.
Well, let me.
It's just me, and it's just me because I'm in the minority on this one, 100%.
Oh no, you're right with me, family.
Well, yeah.
Let me say this about Scott Snyder and Batman. I mean, he is like obsessed with Batman's psyche and insanity, and I just want to read good detective stories, you know?
Oh, sure, yeah. And that's what the Court of Owls really was, a really good, ripping detective story.
So I will say that about Scott Snyder. And that DC Black Label book, the Snyder title, and again, it's another descent into madness. And I'm just like, ugh.
Well, and I feel like, and maybe Dan, you feel differently. I feel like the Black Label has been a real bust overall. I mean, I can't think of a single, even Batman Damned, which I enjoyed. I feel like there hasn't been a home run from the Black Label yet. It's been a lot of weak stuff.
I listened to that segment you and Perry did last night, and I largely agree with it. I mean, is it just going to be Batman, Harley, and Joker stories? Even though I love those, a lot of us are hoping for the next Vertigo, right? So, or
how about a really great Suicide Squad Black Label book?
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
How awesome would that? It seems perfect for why do they keep messing with throw another Batman in? I don't get it.
We'll find out because we have Josh Williamson and Tom King supposed to be doing something with Batman in 2020. So we'll find out where that's going. I mean, Josh Williamson is doing great on Flash. I swear I love Flash, and I'm going to plug Flash all the way down the middle.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I have high hopes that they can make something, especially with now they're folding in a lot of Vertigo into Black Label. Like, I have high hopes that they could potentially do something great with it. It just hasn't happened yet for me. And I enjoyed Batman Damned. I have all the issues, and I thought it was, the artwork is amazing. The story was pretty darn good. I didn't think it was the best in the world or anything. But I think there's a lot of potential in the Black Label. I'm waiting for that home run, that one that's just going to be like, yeah, this is what it's all about.
Well,
hopefully it continues for years and years because I mean, like you said, like I heard you guys talking about last night. I mean, it's Batman, it's Harley, it's Joker. I do love those stories, but it's not surprising anyone, right? So.
Yeah, and again, I think it's fun when you get
valid criticism. Sorry.
Yeah, I think it's fun when you have this great universe, and I think DC has an incredibly diverse universe to be able to play in it and really get a chance to explore. And the Black Label seems like the ultimate platform, especially now. I mean, I came back to comics in a big way thanks to Vertigo, and it breaks my heart to imagine that it will be kind of lost. If not, I just really want them to fold some of that great art and talent in there somewhere. I mean, I loved 100 Bullets, Why the Last Man, Fables.
Yeah,
I mean,
I remember you talking about 100 Bullets.
Those comic runs mean so much to me that it breaks my heart to imagine that Vertigo, it doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, it's kind of weird because I'm so late into the game. I just remember walking down Fifth Street in Philadelphia. There's a street called Fifth Street. I used to walk down that street all the time and go to a shop called Fat Jack's and hit up Fat Jack's and the little shop in the corner. But man, you know what? Time has changed and here we are, man. And yo, it's just crazy, dude.
Two of my all-time favorite people have just jumped into the chat. So I got issues. Chris, thank you for coming by, brother. And TJ, the Slab Dragon Watson, just an awesome guy in our community. So thanks, guys, for coming by to hang out. Really appreciate it.
All right, guys. We are hitting that hour mark. I don't like to go anything over an hour, man. Yo, as always, man, thank you for hanging out on Coast to Coast Comics with right now John Comics with Kids. It's not only with kids, it only puts out great content. And my brother, Dan Piercy.
Thank you.
CBSI.
Thank you, everyone.
And actually, we we'll hit off with John and let John talk about what he got coming on.
I have a plan for a show tomorrow at 6 Pacific with Perry Comics, but I know he's dealing with some family things, so it's possible that gets delayed. I'm not sure, but I'm hopeful that tomorrow at 6 we're doing our movie review show. I'm looking forward to that. And then at 1 o'clock in the middle of the afternoon for California time on Monday, I'm doing my next breakdown of Lost, my favorite TV show.
Oh my God!
So,
y'all were talking about Lost last night. That was crazy.
I get going.
There it is, man. There it is, John. There it is.
It had to happen.
Get in it.
I got a brand. I made some really great new friends out of this run, and Hydra Collectibles is one of them. And he's an artist, man. This guy's amazing, and he's going to come on Monday in the middle of the day, California time, and we're going to talk about season 5, and he's going to show off some of these amazing things he's made. So it'll be something totally fun and different on Monday afternoon. And then I think it's just the rest of the week's normal. Wednesday shows, new comic book shows, and all that good stuff.
All right, Dan. How about you, sir? How you been?
Just shout out to CBSI. The Hot Cold Show is going down on Wednesdays. The Bolo Show on Thursdays, and then the Top 10 Show on Fridays. And man, I really need to get an article in, so hopefully one soon. I want to say great chatting with you, John. There's a lot of commonality between us. So
yeah, it was a lot of fun, even without Rod. When he jumped out on us, we held the ship together.
Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, man.
Hey, man. I'm sorry, man. I got the wife right here, man.
Hey.
She's gonna leave.
We had a great time. We were talking to Storm.
Yeah, man. She's leaving Tuesday. Gone for a week to spend time with her mom at the hospital. It's crazy, dude. But the cool thing about it is that we rock out and hang and talk about comics and I just clear my mind, man. Just hanging out with you guys and it's been a long week. I love hanging out with the comic book community, and it's a good thing. It helps me clear my mind, man. And that's all I have to say. And actually, one more thing. I'm burnt out, but you know what? Tomorrow, comic book community shout out show. We got Wolf Warner as the special guest. Yo, Wolf Warner, lean back. Brooklyn, New York. Yo, he's his special guest. We're gonna have a good time hanging out with him. Yo, as always, man, Coast to Coast Comics. We thank you all for hanging out with us. And especially everyone in the chat, man. Yo, all we do, man, we love comics. We talk and have talk and talk, man. We talk, and we love books and have a great community, man. That's what we about, man. Yep. And that is it, man. Thank you for everyone. I'm tired. You can tell I'm tired, man. I bet I had a long day. Yo. I'm going to end this right now. Good night, everyone. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. All right. Good night. Don't hang up, guys.
Yeah.